everyone. Today we are going to talk about preparing the kitchen in a Montessori home. The kitchen is another area of the home where many practical life skills are practiced and developed. You'll remember that practical life exercises are the everyday tasks that we do to care for ourselves and to care for our environment, our home, both indoors and outdoors. So in the kitchen, these would be activities like washing fruits and vegetables, chopping fruits and vegetables, preparing a meal or a snack, followed by all of the things that we do to then clean up in the kitchen. So washing dishes, wiping down tables and counters. You get the idea. Just all those everyday tasks that we do to keep a household running. So in the kitchen, it's really about creating access for your child. Something that we suggest in the Montessori community in a kitchen is to clear out a low shelf or cupboard and designate that shelf or cupboard to your child's kitchen tools. The things that they will be using to feed themselves, to prepare food, everything else that they do in a kitchen. So in this drawer or cupboard, they might find their tableware. In Montessori, in toddler communities, we guide the children on how to set their own table. And we actually have this really wonderful dish set. This is a silicone placemat, really easy to clean. And you can see that it's got outlines on it so that the child knows exactly where to put everything that they're going to need to eat. So we've got this placemat, and then we have a plate, a glass, followed by some child-size silverware. So everything matches perfectly to the placemats. The great thing about the plates and glasses that we sell here at the Montessori Room is that they're made with Duralex. So they are really, really thick glass that will be able to withstand being dropped a couple of times as your child develops those skills to be able to carry their dishware. Something to keep in mind is that when you're setting the table, because practical life skills are so often developed by observing others doing practical life skills, so what you want to keep in mind when you're setting your own place at the table is to carry the dishes the way that you want your child to carry them. So if we, as a classroom teacher, I have done this a couple of times, especially early on in my career. But as adults, we want to be efficient, right? There's always a faster way of doing things. So carrying all of your dishware at once is definitely going to set the table faster. But imagine you're 2 years old and you're just learning how to set your table. This is a recipe for disaster. So you really want to try to remember to set that example because your child is going to be watching you. So you want to hold the plate with 2 hands, carry one thing at a time, and move slowly. So in the same drawer or cupboard, your child would also find the tools that they're going to need for food prep. In Montessori communities, we start food prep pretty early, and this is because the reality is that children really enjoy it, at least in my experience in the classroom working with many, many toddlers over the years. They all really enjoy being invited to participate in snack preparation. So once your child starts to show an interest in participating in those types of activities, I really encourage you to welcome them in. They can start as an observer, give them some things to explore, and as they grow and have a little bit more control over their hands, they can start maybe chopping some soft fruits or vegetables. So here at the Montessori Room, we actually have a great collection of child-sized kitchen tools. So I'm just going to briefly show you the knives that we sell. This is considered to be the step 1 knife. So it's a wooden knife, fits beautifully in a small hand. It's only sharp enough to cut very soft fruits and vegetables. So this is a really great place to start once your child is showing an interest in participating in food preparation. So this is our step 1 knife. Once they've had a little bit of practice with the step 1 knife, you can introduce them to this step 2 knife. This is just a simple spreading knife. It has a little bit of a blade on it, but again, it's not very sharp. It won't be able to really cut through meat or anything like that. Again, it's really for fruits and vegetables, but this is the step 2 knife so that they can start to get used to holding a handle on a knife, because as we know, the knives that we use as adults all have handles on them. And then finally we have the step 3 knife. So you can see, we've progressed quite considerably from step 1, step 2. Step 3 is a little bit larger. This is a nylon knife with a nice big handle. It, again, has a bit of a blade, but it's really not very sharp. There is the potential for little nicks to happen, but this is why we supervise really closely when we're doing food preparation. So these are 3 of the knives that we have. We have more available, but I just thought I would show you those 3 today. So when you are ready to start doing food prep activities with your child, a tip that I have found very helpful over the years is to go through the activity ahead of time to ensure that your child is going to be able to do it successfully. So, for example, I remember in the classroom, we were teaching the children how to spread hummus onto a cracker. Now, the problem with spreading the hummus onto the crackers is that those little hands can have quite a bit of force. And so when they were pushing down on the crackers, it was breaking in half. So what can we give the children to set them up for success so that they don't have the cracker break as they're trying to spread? We would use a larger piece of bread. You can do it toasted or untoasted. You just want to give them more of a larger area in order to spread their spread onto their bread. If you think that your child would be interested in food preparation activities, we include food prep activities in our Montessori at Home program. So I encourage you to check it out. We have spent quite a bit of time finding child-friendly recipes that they'll be able to participate in successfully, and hopefully that they'll really enjoy eating when they're finished. So something that we've also done is we've put together visual recipes. So here is an example of one of our visual recipe cards that we have. So this was our first one for fruit salad. So you can see, the child can see all of the ingredients that they need in pictures. We've got the writing down there for that environmental print, but they know what they need just based on the pictures of the fruits. And then we've got a list of the different kitchen tools that they're going to need: a cutting board, a knife, a bowl, and a colander. Also great for language development to talk about all the different kitchen tools that you're using. And then here is the visual recipe. So you can see there are the words there so that you can read the words along with your child as they are preparing this fruit salad, but they can also look at the photographs themselves and see how this little guy prepared the fruit salad. So we've got all the different steps clearly listed so that you can go through all of them and then finally enjoying your fruit salad. And then included in all of our recipes is a final page where there's just some notes for parents or for the adults that are doing the activity with the child. We have a couple already prepared on the site. You can search for those under Montessori tips and activities, and we will be putting more recipes out in the very near future. So look forward to those. A really helpful tool to use in the kitchen is a learning tower. A learning tower brings the child up to counter height so that they can participate in all of those practical life exercises at a height. They can stand right alongside you and they can do their food prep, wash the dishes, all those types of things right at the counter with you. If you don't have a learning tower, that's totally fine. You can just use a stool, or you can bring those food prep activities to the ground or to a small table and chair so that your child can still move around and be successful as they are participating in those exercises. Any sort of cleaning tools that you might need in the kitchen, it's really nice when the child can see them so that when a spill happens, they can just naturally see, oh, you know, I have spilled some crumbs on the floor. the broom is right there hanging on the wall. I'm going to go and get that broom and the dustpan, and I'm going to sweep it up. So try to keep any sort of cleaning tools accessible to your child as well. You might want to have those maybe not behind a door, like in a cupboard or in a drawer, but you can use 3M hooks even. That's a really inexpensive way of presenting cleaning tools. It's what we used in the classroom. Just hang them on the wall so that your child knows where to find them at a height where they're going to be able to retrieve them independently. And the last thing I'm going to say about preparing your kitchen for your child is, we've talked about preparing a shelf, creating access, the importance of order, all those types of things. But when you are engaging in any sort of practical life activity in the kitchen, preparing food, cleaning up, etc., you want to make sure to remember to demonstrate. Demonstration is really, really helpful to a child. They have a chance to observe how you do it. You want to make sure that you are showing them how to do it safely and how to do it properly. So you want to make sure you're holding the kitchen tools properly, safely, and that you are moving slowly so that they can really focus on the movements. There is an acronym that we use, which is SHOW. So in Montessori, we show rather than tell. And what show is slow hands, omit words. Oftentimes, our words can be a distraction to a child who's really focusing on learning a new skill. So if your child wants some language, of course, include language, but try to just give them a chance to focus on the movements as well. Something that I would do in the classroom, because I understand you might be hearing some of this and thinking, no way am I going to put a knife in my toddler's hand. But what I would do in the classroom is I would, if it was a child's first time using a knife, I would give them a chance to just, copy me and do it the way that I did it. But if I could see that they were struggling, if I was feeling a little bit nervous about their hand placements, maybe their fingers were getting a little bit too close to the knife, what I would do is I would actually put myself behind the child and I would put my hands over their hands so that they can feel the motion of the knife, so that they can feel that their fingers need to be kept away from the blade. And we would just keep doing that until I felt that the child was making those movements on their own. And then I would back up and give them the space to do that, while obviously supervising very, very closely. So as I said at the start, the kitchen is a wonderful place in the home for self-help skills and practical life skills to be developed. Oftentimes people say that the kitchen is the heart of the home. So once your child is interested in wanting to spend a little bit more time in the kitchen, try some of the suggestions that I talked about today, and include your child and watch as they start to participate and you see what they're capable of. So I'll see you next time. Thanks for being here. Bye.